Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. We're on number 4 of our series of 10 regarding restarting your horse or starting a colt and how I get it done over these last 50 years, putting lots of different techniques together, and this is how we do it. Perhaps you'll get something out of this and help your own training. And I'll try and break everything down, and we'll do a review what we've done from number 1, 2, and 3, and now we're into 4. So some of the stuff we'll review, and some of the stuff as I'm doing it I'll be also teaching. One of the things that we always want to do is to build on what the horse already knows. Don't be in such a hurry to be rushing out and teach. And so we'll bring the horse along and then we'll go back. Bring her along and go back. And they might be just tiny little steps that we do going backwards. But what we always want to do is to encourage the horse to do the right thing. We want the horse to build up its confidence, and we want to build up our relationship with the horse. So doing all of these different things as we're moving on to the next thing builds up his confidence because he already knows what you're asking. Now, to get started, obviously the horse knows nothing. So we're going to establish right now a direction. If the horse was to change that direction, and actually when you first start, if they do, that's a good thing, because it gives you a chance to correct. You don't want to be running around correcting a problem that doesn't exist. So what I'm going to do is find a direction, and I'm going to hold that direction. And what I'm telling the horse is that I am the leader, and this is what I want you to do. If he changes direction, I make sure he goes back to the way I started him in the correct direction. So that will be number 1. So what did we just talk about there? Establishing something they know. So if I put him in a direction, now he knows I want that direction. So right from that moment forward is how we build. So here goes. So I'm going to pick a direction. Now, another thing that I'm looking for as the horse goes along is I'm looking for his flank, which connects into where his back leg is up at his thigh. That's called a flank. Does the horse have any discomfort there? So I know the horse does not, so I can proceed. Now I look at his feet. Is he picking up his feet correctly where he's not lame? Yes, he is. I can proceed. Is that inside ear facing on me like an eyeball would? Yes, it is. Now I know my horse is very attentive to me. So now I have established a direction so the horse knows something. Great. Next thing we're going to do is try and have the horse come in towards us and go the opposite direction. So I'm going to back away from the horse. Inside, inside. And I encourage the horse in the opposite direction. Now, several things is that I'm getting the horse to read my body language. So now we're starting to get a relationship going where the horse is paying attention to my body already. So I keep him going along. Now this would be a great thing to have going when you have somebody up there in the saddle. So inside, beautiful. So what do I mean by that? Now, we don't even have a halter on this horse yet. However, if I did have a halter on and I had somebody up there and they were to use their legs, and I was to tell them to come in, wouldn't that be really a nice thing to have somebody on that horse right now and I said inside, and they turned that rein and put a leg on that horse? Wouldn't that be great? So that we're cutting back away from a big buckaroo if we can. And also another thing, when we get that saddle on, we want to be able to immediately, when that horse finds discomfort, is to get right into something that they already know. Well, we're teaching them right now what they're going to already know. That way I can get them to forget about the saddle and get back into something else. Inside. Now this is another great thing that you can do in a little bit, because we don't have a halter on, is we're going to have that horse come to us. When we're teaching our horse to come to us and hook on, it's really nice. And we'll do that in a few minutes. I want to do something else first. But is as the horse comes around and inside, inside, right there, I'd slow it down. Now that would be the beginning of teaching my horse to come to me. The other thing that I want to be able to do, if I have a saddle on this horse, is to be able to have this horse go like this. Let's say I have a halter and a lead line on this horse, but I don't have a round pen. So let's lope this horse up. Pretend I have a lead on him. Now lope. Now he's heard the word lope. Now he's loping. That's great. Now I want to trot. Trot. That's great. One of the harder things to do is to get your horse actually to walk. But remember, I'm lunging this horse right now, and this horse hasn't even gotten a halter on. So now I'm going to try and get it to walk. So I'll cut the circle a little bit. Walk. Walk. Keep him going. Walk. Slow him down. Keep him going. Try to figure it out. Trying to figure. Walk. Walk. Slow everything down. Walk. It's looking for the answer. Looking for the answer. Still looking. And this is really hard to do, to get a horse to walk that's a little hot. Beautiful. Look at that, guys. Now think about that for a second. I've already taught the horse to walk, trot, and lope, and I don't have a halter on yet. So now what I'd like to be able to do is do half circles. So as that horse comes in, okay, inside, half circle. There's my beginning of my half circle right there. Inside, look at that. Half circle. Inside, no, no. Inside, half circle. Inside, half circle. Okay, now I go somewhere else. My horse starts acting up. I know now that I'm going to be able to lunge this horse. Keep in mind, I don't have a halter on him yet. So now we move him on. So that's a good reason for us to do the insides. So you understand why we establish our directions, why we establish coming in. A lot of people do not like turning their horses out to the fence. For me, because what I will do with these horses, whoa, whoa. Now, wouldn't it be nice to have a whoa on a horse? And we don't even have our bridle and saddle on yet. So, where was I at? Yeah, talking about the next thing we're going to do here is turning the horse outside. So, a lot of people don't like that due to the fact that the rear end comes toward you. The trade-off for me, because as I train these horses, what I look for is to be able to do everything on them. Like, you know, you can walk, trot, lope, ride, then they got to be able to pack. And I go through the course of having a cart behind them where we're driving them. Not necessarily is every horse designed with the temperament to do cart work, but at least I can put him through the training. That just makes my horse a lot better. And we will be doing some horses coming up that we'll be putting on the cart. So we're doing all of these things to make our horse really come together. So let's start off here with hooking. Well, we'll go back to our outside and I'll talk to you about that. So let's get this horse out. So now I'm going to turn this horse out to the fence. This is a very important part for when we go into, this is stage 4, we're going to go into stage 5 and we're going to be driving. Now let's pretend I have reins in my hand. So I got this horse trotting right now. So walk, little tip, walk, walk. Pretend I got reins on him, walk, walk. Trot, and I got my reins. Now just imagine while I'm doing this, I have somebody up there riding. How much easier it's going to be for them to put a leg on this horse and turn it out to the fence. And this horse hasn't got a saddle or a halter on yet, but we've already moved this far. So I'm going to turn it out. I pull my right rein out. And a nice walk, trot, trot. Now I'm going to cut it off and put a whoa, whoa. And I don't have all of that on them yet. Go up. Now we're going to go back. So that's the reason for the outside. As you can see how beneficial it will be when we get some reins on this horse. And again, we don't have a halter on yet. And look how much we've got into this horse. So now what we're going to be looking for right here is having this horse hook on to us. So we will start off by getting the horse to hook onto us. We're also going to be pushing towards getting this halter on. So, and if you haven't seen how we did that, go back to number 1, 2, and 3. So now we asked the horse to come in and I reinforce by a slight circle. Come up, I stop here, reinforce. Now I ask for the horse, I ask, whoa, reinforce. And this is also, prior to this, how we did our flag work. Now do you think that it might be easier? Let's pretend, whoa, whoa. Let's just pretend that we've got a halter on this horse. Do you think that it might be easier to teach this horse to lead? Come here, come here. Now, whoa, good. Now we've already gone over the leading lesson. Let's see if we can get this horse to back up. Back, back. Oh, we don't have a halter on yet. Okay, now let's go and put our halter on. And this is going to be something I'm going to teach new right here, and I'll turn around to the camera. So we know when we go into our next stage, which is going to be number 5, we're going to be doing driving. So I get my halter on, and you can go back and see how we broke this down as well. I'm just trying to teach you the whys and get you to relate to why we did all of that stuff. So I bring this around. Now I got a horse on here that not only has a good understanding, and I'm not ambushing the horse, I'm giving him credit for the things that he knows. So when I get the horse here, I'll already start doing this. By touching the back here, I'll put a little pressure, get his head to drop. Why am I doing that? Because I want his head like that when I'm going to put the bridle on. I'm not going to put a bridle on him today, but when I get there, it's not going to be an ambush. So then I might come along and I'll make a little loop out of my lead line, and I'll pretend like it's a bridle. So I might just come along like this, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Don't worry about it. So we see some resistance there. We'll just ho, 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 good girl, good. Very good. Now we have a bit in the mount, a pretend bit, a lead line. Okay. So now we'll just go back and we'll drop this horse's head down, 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 pressure, pressure, release, pressure, 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 release, pressure, pressure, release. When it gives to me, I release. Gives, I release. Gives, I release. Now, wouldn't this be a great position to be in? Then I just kind of roll over these ears, and we did a lot of that earlier. Wouldn't that be a great start to be putting on your bridle to be already at this stage? Okay, so now we're going to go over a few little things that we did with our ropes, was just tossing this over, trying to sack them out. Toss it over. Go around these legs, 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 over the back, over the back. Now, if I'm going to be throwing a rope off of this horse, wouldn't it be nice for this horse to be nice and calm like this? So I can get a rope thrown. Now, the other thing is I'm going to be picking up those feet. So let's go back, and what we have done is desensitize these feet so I can get around, and that's not an issue. Okay, now I'm going to be throwing ropes when I put my pack saddle on all over this horse. So I want the horse to get calm with ropes around. If I'm roping a steer, I want them to have already seen this. I want to be able to maybe do a figure eight, a circling like this. I want to be able to be back here very carefully. Watch your horse doesn't come towards you, and just throw it out a little bit. Okay, a little bit more. Okay, so I want that horse to get used to this angle with that rope going out there and getting drawn back in. When my little petite body is up there and I throw a rope off of this horse, I sure don't want it to be the first time it sees that. Okay. Now, another thing that I'll do is when I get this horse reinforced like I am, I stick this rope in my belt, like here. So I do have a hold of them, but I pretend like I don't. So I'm reinforcing this horse listening to me. So if I was to get into trouble, I just grab this and pull, and everything comes free as I move away from the horse. So I want to be able to make sure the feet are squared up and I can pick up the foot. The reason I say square up, obviously the horse is going to have more of a difficult time picking up its feet if it's not balanced. So now we've established that we can pick up the feet, the horse will stand still. Now I just take my rope and I switch sides. Flip it over, put it under my belt. This is a long lead, which is cool. I like this for ponying. All right, so I check the leg, pick it up, everything looks good. Come back over here, looks good. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is have the horse move its front end around. So I'm going to just use energy right here to move this horse around. I'm looking for this leg to cross in front. Move over. It didn't. Move over. It did. It did. It did. It did. Okay. Now I'm looking for it to do it on this side. Move over. Move over. Move over. Move over. Very good. Let's talk about that. When I'm riding this horse, I want to be able to circle around, and I do not want the horse stepping behind, where if it goes fast, it'll trip itself up. I want it reaching over, reaching over. I also want, when I'm driving this horse, I want this horse, if it's under cart, and it's got to start to move off to the left, what I'm looking for is the horse to be able to go, okay, go up, stop, back up, and come around. Now what I'm looking for when we first start out is I'm going to be putting legs on this horse. So this is the beginning of me putting legs on the horse. I'm not going to wait till I'm up there for this horse to feel it. So we'll start right here by moving the back end. We've done it without any hands. And then what we've done, see how he's disengaged those back hips and around? So then we've done it with nothing. Disengage those back hips. Beautiful. Beautiful. Control the head. Okay, stop. Whoop. Now we go back over here and we're going to disengage those back. Well, we'll do the front end first. So now I'm going to put my thumb over here. And I push. Little pressure. Steps over, steps over, steps over, steps over, stop. Now that's the first time right there. When we have a saddle on, we're going to do that with the stirrups. So we're not ambushing the horse. We're going to do the same on this side. Move them over, over, leg in front. There we go. Thank you. Over and over. Now, just like when I was a little boy, and my father was training me in the arts, I would love to get approval. So if you want to build up a great relationship with your horse, now is a good time. This horse did everything great. Why can't I just take a few minutes and pat on this horse? Oh, you're so good. Yeah. Now this horse is going to seek to please me. And every chance I get, I embrace this horse with kindness. Now I have a horse that's going to end up wanting to be around me. So now let's relate to this, because this is very important how you socialize with your horse. Let's get this out of here. This is another good way. Well, we'll do later, doing some ground time. Well, so, where was I at on that? Now I forgot. I must be just getting old. Oh, good time to tell you. Like and subscribe so that we get this channel growing. Let's get that moving along. All right, guys. So for our next deal here is we're going to take this horse and let me see, is there anything that we missed? So we know why we have a direction, okay, to check our horse's well-being and to establish control and build up something. Why did we do the inside? The inside was for half circles and for lunging and for sanding our horse. What else did we do? So we did our inside, our outsides, teaching our horse how to drive and turn. Okay, and then we did our insides also for hooking on our horse. Okay, so now let's just go back over real quick our lunging. So we have the horse on a lead right here. Come up. Let's send them out. Now when you're teaching your horse to lunge, which just now it's great that we have this round pen, but if you didn't have this round pen and your horse was really hot and you wanted to be able to lunge, wouldn't it be great to already have this done when you show up at your friend's house? So we have this going on right here. Now I'm going to ask, when you're doing this, make sure you stay off of the fence, because we're teaching independence right here. So now let's ask this horse to lope up. Now wouldn't this be great if we were getting somebody up there for the first time too? Hup. Lope. 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 trot. Now I'm going to do my half circles. Remember our inside. Got our trot. Got our lope. Let's try our walk. 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 Now let's try our sanding our half circles. Come over. Come over. Come over. Come over. Whoa. Now let's reinforce with some loving. Letting this horse know that it's doing everything great for us. So for right now, I'm going to change that camera around and we're going to saddle this horse. One of the other things that we've done, go back and I'll put up, you know, where you can look up some of the stuff that we've done. It's 1, 2, and 3 is already done. You're in 4. Okay, let me move this camera because for the first time on this series, we're going to saddle the horse on the outside. I always want lefts and rights. And what I mean by that is you should be able to saddle to your left, saddle to your right. Either way. So let's go and move this camera and we'll do that. Now, I guess I should start this tractor up. Okay guys, you gotta bear with me on this. I'm not super good on all of this stuff. So, let's see that we're getting everything that we want here, right? We got the hitching post in. Let's tilt this a little more. Tractor the wrong way. All right. So let's work with the gate. Anytime we come in and out of gates, I always like to have them opened in the direction I'm going. Let's see what we got here. I think this is good here. So let's put some of our training to work here. All right, so sometimes you cannot do that. Ideally, if I'm coming out this gate, I want it open. Therefore, if something hangs up, it's less likely to tear everything apart. So now we've done our half circles where we can sand and do all of that stuff. So let's put something to practice here. And we've also done our leading lesson. So we're back, back, back. So if we were to get bucked off or something, we now know that instead of like in the old days, just get back